Most people think you need to be kneeling in the dirt every single day, pulling weeds, micromanaging soil moisture, and stressing over delicate crops to ever make a real, sustainable income in agriculture. But what if I told you that busy side hustlers and aspiring intrapreneurs are currently building automated, high-yield botanical systems that generate a passive, recurring income stream, requiring less than 3 hours of maintenance an entire month? The hidden secret of agricultural wealth is this. While average growers slave away daily, planting delicate annual vegetables that die every winter and yield literal pennies, smart growers plant set-and-forget perennial assets exactly once. They are quietly supplying high-margin, low-maintenance crops that specialty apothecaries, holistic clinics, and luxury chefs are actively waitlisting right now. And before you say, "I work a full-time job," "I travel way too much," or "I kill every plant I touch," understand this one fundamental truth. You do not need more time. You need a smarter biological system. Stay until the end, because plant number 7 is the ultimate generational wealth crop. It requires a brief window of patience up front, but once it establishes itself, it produces luxury, high-ticket harvests for over 2 decades with zero replanting. Welcome back to Panting Help, the channel where we explore automated botanical income streams and how to turn soil into opportunity and seeds into success. Before we reveal the 7 specific crops that will automate your agricultural income, we must completely destroy a toxic myth. The mainstream agricultural complex has brainwashed you into believing that growing plants is a labor-intensive chore. They want you to think that you must trade your valuable time, your sweat, and your physical energy for a meager harvest. If you are treating your growing space like a fragile intensive care unit, constantly checking the temperature, adjusting the soil pH every 3 days, and battling pests with expensive sprays, you have already lost the game. You are not an entrepreneur. You have just bought yourself a second, highly stressful, unpaid job. We do not play that game here. We are agricultural intrapreneurs. We deploy biological assets that do the heavy lifting for us. We want crops that thrive on neglect. We want plants with aggressive root systems, extreme drought tolerance, and built-in pest resistance. We want plants that you can stick in the dirt, walk away from for 3 weeks, and return to find that they have actively increased in market value. This is the transition from active labor to passive botanical infrastructure. These are the 7 set-and-forget crops that will completely revolutionize your local income strategy. Plant number 1 is upright rosemary. When the average person sees a rosemary plant, they completely misunderstand its economic potential. They see a generic, dry herb sitting in a plastic supermarket shaker for $2. They think, "Why would I grow this? There is no margin here." But here is the hidden opportunity. Rosemary is not a fragile vegetable. It is a woody perennial shrub that is practically bulletproof. Originating in the rocky cliffs of the Mediterranean, this plant thrives on intense neglect. It loves terrible, sandy soil. It despises being overwatered. It is naturally resistant to almost every pest because of its intense essential oils. You plant it, you establish the roots, and it becomes a permanent biological fixture that requires zero daily care. The strategic advantage is its robust regeneration. When you harvest rosemary, you are actually pruning it, which forces the plant to grow back thicker and bushier. It is a compounding asset. So, how do we build the value chain? We ignore the supermarket completely. Your B2B, business-to-business monetization angle, is hyper-targeted toward the luxury hospitality sector. You are going to target craft cocktail bars and high-end artisanal bakeries. A premium cocktail bar uses fresh, thick sprigs of rosemary to smoke glasses for $20 bourbon drinks. They cannot use the sad, wilted clippings from a wholesale distributor. They need robust, aromatic, freshly clipped stalks. You approach the bar manager and offer a standing subscription. Every Thursday afternoon, you deliver a pristine, heavily aromatic bundle of living rosemary for $30. Simultaneously, you approach artisanal bakeries, making high-end sea salt and rosemary focaccia. Because you are growing a permanent, massive shrub that requires zero weekly maintenance, your labor cost is virtually zero. You spend 10 minutes clipping, 10 minutes delivering, and you collect passive, recurring revenue from a plant that grows itself. Plant number 2 is aloe vera. Most people misunderstand aloe vera entirely. They view it as a sad, dusty little houseplant sitting on a windowsill waiting for someone to get a sunburn in July. They view it as an emergency first aid novelty, not a commercial commodity. The hidden opportunity here is astronomical. Most people don't realize that aloe vera is essentially a self-replicating biological factory. As a desert succulent, it stores its own water supply. You can literally forget to water it for an entire month, and it will continue to thrive and expand. The strategic advantage of aloe is its propagation system. A healthy mother plant doesn't just grow larger. It shoots out exact genetic clones of itself, called pups, around its base. You do not have to buy seeds. You do not have to buy new inventory. The plant manufactures its own inventory for you on autopilot. You simply detach the pups, place them in cheap pots with well-draining soil, and let them grow. The monetization and value chain angle for aloe vera skips the garden center completely and goes straight to the boutique wellness and organic skincare industry. The market demand for pure, unadulterated, locally sourced aloe gel is massive. Boutique spas use raw aloe leaves for premium facial treatments and soothing organic skin wraps. Local organic soap makers and boutique skincare formulators are desperate for fresh aloe leaves because the processed, commercial aloe gel they buy in jugs is packed with chemical preservatives that ruin their 100% organic branding. You become the premium raw material supplier. You sell mature, massive, single leaves for $5 to $10 each directly to these local businesses. Because the plant clones itself, your supply is infinite. You set the pots on a sunny patio, ignore them, and simply harvest the massive outer leaves as the B2B orders roll in. It is the ultimate set-and-forget wellness asset. Plant number 3 is rhubarb. Rhubarb is deeply misunderstood. The average grower looks at rhubarb and sees a bizarre, sour weed with toxic leaves that their grandmother used to grow. They think the market demand is dead because nobody eats raw rhubarb. But here is the entrepreneurial secret. Rhubarb provides the single most powerful strategic advantage in agriculture, the first-to-market monopoly. Rhubarb is a cold, hardy perennial that is practically indestructible. It dies back to the ground in the winter, completely disappearing. But the moment the soil barely begins to thaw, in early spring weeks, before anyone else has even planted a single seed of lettuce, rhubarb explodes out of the ground. It requires no planting, no seeding, no greenhouse, and zero coddling. It is a biological machine that wakes up and prints money while your competitors are still sleeping. The hidden opportunity is its extreme scarcity. Because it is the very first harvestable crop of the year, executive chefs and artisanal food producers are desperate for it. After a long, dark winter of serving root vegetables, farm-to-table chefs are aggressively seeking bright, fresh, local produce to put on their spring dessert menus. Your monetization angle is hyperlocal, B2B, exclusivity. You bypass the consumer entirely. You take your massive, ruby red stalks of rhubarb directly to high-end pastry chefs, local artisanal ice cream makers, and boutique jam companies. They will buy every single pound you can produce to create their spring premiere strawberry rhubarb compotes and tarts. Because rhubarb is a perennial that lives for over a decade, your system is entirely passive. You plant the crowns once. Every spring, you spend 1 hour harvesting the premium red stalks. You sell them at a premium price because you have zero local competition, and then you ignore the plant for the rest of the year. Plant number 4 is sunchokes, also known as Jerusalem artichokes. This crop is the ultimate insider secret. Most people misunderstand sunchokes because they have a reputation for being aggressive, invasive weeds. Average gardeners are terrified of them because if you plant them, they will take over an entire garden bed and grow 10 feet tall. But as an agricultural entrepreneur, we don't fear aggressive growth. We weaponize it. The hidden opportunity is that this plant does all of its valuable work completely underground, completely out of sight, and with absolutely zero human intervention. Sunchokes are highly drought-tolerant, immune to most pests, and thrive in poor soil. You drop the tubers in a dedicated raised bed or a large container, walk away for 6 months, and the plant geometrically multiplies its underground mass. The strategic advantage is the hyper-niche nutritional profile of the sunchoke. These tubers do not store their energy as starch, they store it as inulin, a powerful prebiotic fiber. This means they have a near-zero glycemic index. This leads directly into your monetization and value chain angle. You are not selling a vegetable to a casual home cook. You are selling a functional, medicinal food to a highly specialized market. Your target buyers are holistic nutritionists, diabetic-friendly personal chefs, and high-end organic health food stores. When you frame your product as a premium, locally grown prebiotic superfood, the price per pound skyrockets. You wait until the tops of the plants die back in the late fall, dump out your containers, and harvest 10 times the amount of tubers you originally planted. You sell the premium tubers to the health-conscious culinary market and simply leave a few small scraps in the dirt. Those scraps will effortlessly regenerate the entire crop for the next year. It is a closed-loop passive income system. Plant number 5 is Echinacea, commonly known as the purple coneflower. Most people look at Echinacea and see nothing more than basic, pretty landscaping. They plant it in their front yard to attract butterflies and completely ignore the staggering pharmaceutical value resting beneath the soil. What if I told you that the global market for Echinacea extracts, teas, and tinctures is a multi-million-dollar industry, and you can tap directly into that supply chain from a small, ignored patch of dirt? The strategic advantage of Echinacea is that it is a tough, prairie-native perennial. It has evolved to survive scorching heat, deep freezes, and massive droughts. It does not need fertilizer. It does not need careful watering. It requires absolute neglect to build up its valuable properties. The hidden opportunity lies in the fact that the entire plant is a monetizable asset. The petals, the seed heads, and most importantly, the roots. Your value chain angle here is the holistic wellness and apothecary market. Boutique tea blenders are constantly looking for locally grown, pesticide-free Echinacea petals to mix into their premium, immune-boosting loose-leaf teas. You can harvest the flowers, dry them on screens in your garage, and sell them by the ounce to tea companies for incredible margins. But the real entrepreneurial wealth is in the roots. After the plant has been established for 3 years, with zero maintenance from you, the roots become incredibly potent. You dig up a portion of your crop, wash the roots, and sell them directly to local herbalists, naturopathic doctors, and tincture makers. They use these roots to create high-ticket cold and flu remedies. You are leveraging a wild, untamed flower into a passive pharmaceutical supply chain. Plant number 6 is elderberry. When people hear elderberry, they think of complicated foraging trips deep into the woods, fighting off bugs to find a few wild berries. They misunderstand it as a wild, messy bush that has no place in a strategic growing system. But the smart grower knows that elderberry is the ultimate set-and-forget B2B powerhouse. The hidden opportunity is the explosive mainstream demand for natural immunity products. Go to any premium grocery store and look at the price of a small, 8-ounce bottle of organic elderberry syrup. It routinely sells for $20 to $30. The strategic advantage of the elderberry bush is its aggressive, weed-like growth rate. Once you plant a cutting in a sunny corner of your property or a massive patio container, it establishes a deep root system and essentially takes care of itself. It requires no trellising, no delicate pruning, and no pampering. By year 2 or 3, a single bush can produce 10 to 15 pounds of berries. The monetization angle here is not making the syrup yourself that requires commercial kitchens, health department permits, and massive time investment. You are the raw material tycoon. You build a pipeline directly to the artisan syrup producers and local apothecaries in your city. These small businesses are desperate for local organic elderberries because shipping frozen berries across the country is astronomically expensive. You contract with these makers in advance. In late summer, you spend a few hours clipping the massive clusters of berries. You freeze them in bulk bags, and you sell them wholesale to the syrup makers. You have effectively automated your income. The bush grows the product all year while you do nothing. You harvest once, freeze it, deliver it, and collect your premium check from businesses that absolutely rely on your botanical infrastructure. Plant number 7 is asparagus. Remember the open loop from the beginning of this video? This is the generational wealth crop that changes everything. Most people misunderstand asparagus because they are trapped in a mindset of instant gratification. The mainstream illusion is that asparagus is a terrible investment because when you plant the crowns, the root systems, you are not supposed to harvest a single spear for the first 2 to 3 years. The average grower hears that and immediately walks away, calling it a waste of time. But the strategic intrapreneur knows that patience is the ultimate barrier to entry. Because everyone else is too impatient to grow it, the local supply is incredibly scarce, driving the market value through the roof. Here is the hidden, powerful secret of asparagus. Yes, you wait 2 years. But once that root system is established, that exact same plant will produce premium, high-dollar luxury harvests every single spring for 20 to 25 years. Let that sink in. You dig a trench, plant the crowns, and wait. And then, for the next 2 decades, you do absolutely nothing but walk outside in the spring and cut high-value spears out of the dirt. It is the ultimate set-and-forget biological monopoly. The monetization and value chain angle for asparagus is strictly top-tier luxury. You are not taking this to a discount farmer's market. You are building a direct pipeline to executive chefs at high-end steakhouses and luxury country clubs. A perfectly fresh, locally grown, thick asparagus spear is a culinary status symbol. Steakhouses will easily charge their patrons $15 for a side dish of 4 asparagus spears. Because commercial asparagus degrades rapidly in transit from overseas, your hyper-local morning-harvested product is vastly superior in texture and sweetness. You deliver your premium bundles directly to the back door of the steakhouse, charging top dollar for a product that literally grew itself while you slept. You turn soil into opportunity and seeds into success by letting time and biology do the heavy lifting. Let's bring this all together. The mindset shift we have discussed today is the difference between working for your garden and making your garden work for you. The average grower views plants as needy dependents that require constant, exhausting daily care just to survive. The smart grower views plants as automated infrastructure. They see a rosemary bush not as an herb, but as a compounding asset for the hospitality industry. They see sunchokes not as weeds, but as a subterranean prebiotic factory. They see asparagus not as a slow-growing vegetable, but as a 20-year luxury bond that pays out reliable dividends every single spring. If you are busy, if you work a demanding job, or if you simply want to build an income stream that doesn't consume your life, you must stop planting fragile annuals and start investing in aggressive, high-margin perennials. If this video completely changed your perspective on agricultural automation, hit that like button to feed the algorithm and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another high-level strategic breakdown. And now, we turn it over to you. I want to hear your execution plan in the comments below. Which of these plants would you start with and why? Are you going after the cocktail bars with rosemary or the boutique apothecaries with elderberry? Let's talk strategy in the comments. Keep planting, keep growing, and keep thriving with Panting Help. I'll see you in the next video.